What's going on, everyone? Happy Sunday to everyone. Hopefully, everyone is doing well. Hopefully, the weather is calm, quiet, and tame where you are. Today, on a climate update, we are going to talk about weather extremes around the world, some current and some that have happened over the past year. So, it is time now for the Sunday edition of the Climate Update for Sunday, January 21st, 2024. Today, I thought we would start off over in Europe, specifically over by the UK and over by Ireland, where some extreme weather is ongoing right now. Storm Isha is really wreaking havoc. Take a look at this satellite presentation. You can see there is the classic comma shape with this storm. And this storm has actually prompted something I have never seen happen before in this portion of Europe. At least I don't think it's happened before. Maybe it has. It's the first time I've ever seen it happen. A tornado watch has been issued for portions of Ireland today for the risk of tornadoes. And take a look at this. You can see here in this red, even stretches across portions of the UK. Yes, this, my friends, is a tornado watch. Something, again, I don't think I've ever seen this happen in Ireland before. Can tornadoes happen over there? Yes. Are they something that happens common? No. And in this situation, Carlo Weather put out a tweet saying a tornado watch has been issued by Toro UK for Ireland today with the risk of tornadoes embedded in Storm Isha. But these are very difficult to forecast and would be localized if they do occur. All right, moving on now to more about this storm. There could be wind gusts up to 100 miles per hour. Yes, that is really impressive. And with that, they are occurring. Take a look at this. This map here shows you in Ireland, there are plenty of power outages. You can see here all these places with these red exclamation point boxes. There's a lot of them. If you could zoom in on this, you would see more. All places that potentially right now do have power outages by the storm. Taking a look at the GFS for the storm. Look at this. The pressure actually continues to drop as we go into this evening. Of course, it's already evening over there. It gets down to a whopping 947 millibars. That's a really strong storm. Look at the gradient here. That is really strong winds. All right, moving on. Australia. There's extreme weather going on there as well. Today could be the hottest day in Australia's history with temperatures up to 125 degrees Fahrenheit, or in Celsius that would be 51.7 degrees Celsius. And you can see that this is happening in Western Australia, but look at this, across central Australia as well. Now down in Melbourne, it's not too bad. The Australian Open, it's actually rather cool. But north of that, you can see here, look at this. It is really, really hot. You have to start wondering, are they going to be having wildfires? Because in the past, when they've had extreme heat in Australia, wildfires do usually follow. So it's something we will keep an eye on, of course. That's what we do here. We're a climate channel. We report on things that are impacting, weather extremes, and of course current weather as well. Louisiana drought, cold weather, could make crawfish harvest worst on record. So yesterday, if you were following my channel, yesterday we did a video on how there is going to be going from drought to flooding in this area. Well, the drought that had been occurring over the past year or so was causing for there to be an impact on crawfish, and it could even get to the point where crawfish become so scarce, some areas you're not going to be able to find it, and crawfish, it's going to go way up in price. Anytime something becomes low in demand, or low in the sense that availability is not there, but the demand is there, the price of something goes up, and in this case, crawfish is going to get more expensive. All right, now we have to talk about this. A record $63 billion weather disasters hit Earth in 2023. Yes, this is really extreme, and you can see a typhoon. Look at this graphic here. It shows you the top 30. A typhoon over in the Philippines, China, and Taiwan. That was the most expensive one. That had $18.5 billion in damage. It also had 111 deaths. Then we come down to a flooding event, Storm Daniel, that hit Greece and Libya in September 4th and 11th of 2023. It had $10.1 billion in damage, but check this out, 4,361 deaths. Yes, that is really extreme. India had a bad event back in June through September. It's just a long duration period. $5 billion in damage, but 2,571 deaths. And also, yeah, just take a look at this. You can see there were several other events that went on that had high impact, caused a high number of deaths. China, their seasonal flooding. Look at this, 302 deaths, 13.1 billion damage. All right, let's take a look at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, NOAA, here in the United States. And this shows some events that happened at the end of this is annual events, but some of them were at the end of last year. North America, 2023 was the warmest year on record. Now, when we say record, you're saying, oh, well, records only go back so far. I totally understand that. I see all sides of climate change. I see the fact that, hey, things are definitely changing, but I also see the fact that our records only go back to the 1800s. Some places go back further. Could these events have happened before in the past? Sure, they could have, but we just don't have records of it. And now that the Earth is more populated, it causes a greater impact, a greater loss of life. You just saw here, Greece, over 4,000 deaths from that storm Daniel. And look at the dollar sign impact. It has a much higher price tag because things are much more expensive now. And with there being more billions of people in the world than there were thousands of years ago, again, this has a much greater impact on life, wildlife, and, living in general. It just has a great impact. Hawaii, remember this? Hurricane Dora back in the summer that caused winds and then the fires in Maui, that was a big thing. South America had its warmest year on record. Africa, again, warmest year on record. Atlantic hurricane season, above average activity. 20 storms, including 7 hurricanes. Asia, second warmest year on record. And climate change can also be about the extremes. Why they had the warmest year on record? The end of the year in portions of Asia and portions of China was actually historically cold, all while having the warmest year on record. Europe also had its second warmest year on record. Remember, there were some really extremely hot days over in the UK. All right, moving on. I wanted to show you this. This is very important. We have to come back to the United States now. We have to talk about a current event. Take a look at this icing. Yesterday we were talking about the flooding potential from Texas on up through to Kentucky. We also have to talk about some icing potential. If you live in, say, Oklahoma City, maybe St. Louis, portions of Illinois, Chicago, you do have an icy situation that is going to be coming for you tomorrow, and it's something I want you to take seriously. It does not take a lot of ice to cause travel problems and to cause these pileups on the interstates here in the United States. So it's something you have to watch. And as time goes on, eventually that is going to warm up because it's not going to get deeply cold behind us. We're actually heading into a fall from the Mississippi River on eastward. Things are going to thaw out this week. In fact, places like Philadelphia, at the end of the week, you could be touching near 60 degrees. I know, it's 31 degrees here in Philadelphia right now. By the end of the week, it's going to get much warmer. Take a look at this. On Tuesday, northern side of this is still going to be cold. Portions of New York State and New England could be in for a snowy, icy mix. So we have to be mindful of that as well. But also, we do take note here. This is the NAM model. Here's that heavy rain threat I was talking about. Now, it's not as impressive on models as it was yesterday, but again, it's still going to happen. And given we're talking about convection, there could be some localized really high amounts wherever this sets up. It's not just going to be one system, but it's going to be a series of multiple systems starting as early as tomorrow, going through late next week. Taking a look at that ice potential again, here's some ice totals from the NAM model, and you can see here a quarter of an inch to maybe even localized almost a half an inch in portions of Missouri. That may be a little bit overdone, but it doesn't take much ice to cause problems. And of course, if you start talking a half an inch, you also start concerning yourself with power outages. So anywhere from Texas up through this area, even into Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, you really want to pay close attention tomorrow. The southern region, if you don't have to travel tomorrow morning, stay home. The northern region, your commute home tomorrow evening could be problematic with the ice, and this model is even showing that portions of northern and northwestern Pennsylvania may have to be mindful of ice as well. Let's take a look now at what is going on over the next climate over the next 6 to 10 days. You can see the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. The the center of the highest above average temperatures has now shifted a little bit. It's not in the northeast, though you're going to be in a thaw and above average temperatures. The northern plains and the west coast are going to be where it is most above average. And when that happens, we then take a look at Alaska, where Alaska is going to be well below average. Hawaii, incidentally, will also be above average. Taking a look at precipitation, past this system that's coming this week, it's going to get dry in the central region once again. We'll have to see how long that lasts. Wet in the Pacific Northwest. Of course, you're going to have that constant flow. The Pacific jet's going to be really active. And taking a look at this in the east, slightly above average across portions of the Carolinas and Virginia. And quickly, 8 to 14 day, well above average in the Midwest. Really across much of the country, it's going to be above average, slightly below average in Florida for temperatures. And taking a look at precipitation, well above average in the west, it's going to be very active, and slightly below average precipitation in the east, though there still will be some storm systems to be found, and there could be a couple coastal events, rainy ones of course, because it's not going to get cold again until later in February, that we'll have to keep an eye on. And if those coastal events do come up the coast, though as rain, then this would end up being a little bit wetter. But again, we are going to be talking about a ton of rain out west, and yes, potential flooding, mountain snows, wind. So yep, it's something we will have to keep an eye on. And slightly above average precipitation in Alaska, and slightly below average precipitation in Hawaii. I hope you enjoyed today's climate update. Boy, that was a lot of information, was it? A lot of extreme weather has occurred around the world and is occurring as we speak right now. We will have another climate update again in the near future. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. If you know anyone who's interested in weather, climate, and what's going on with the climate around the world and current weather in the U.S., by all means, share this with them. I will see you all again next time. Thanks for watching.